here with my good friend Kim Berry. We're so excited about the possibilities and the collaboration that we plan to do in the very come with so much talent and has touched the heads of some of the greatest entertainers that ever walked the planet, including the world famous Prince. So Kim is here with us, and Shannon.
Yes.
Shannon is here also. I remember her dear brother. He was in a salon on Crenshaw Boulevard. Is that right?
That's correct.
Yes, and I'm here, Lorenzo, with Loran Professional Hair Care System in the Loran podcast room. We just left an awesome session in the other part of the facility, but I just want to open it up with Kim. And Kim, just tell us here, where'd you go to beauty school?
Pacific Beauty College, on 54th and Crenshaw. Walked in one day mad at my mama, and it wound up being a tour that turned into being signed up for beauty school. And Mr. Cedric Goins was my mentor and teacher, and it was just beautiful. He walked me around the school, showed me where everything was, and he was like, okay, sign right here, Barry. And I said, sign right here. He was like, yeah. He said, school starts tomorrow, and if you show up, he said, school starts at 8 o'clock. If you show up at 8:01, don't come back for 30 days. I said, what you mean? He said, don't come back for 30 days. You miss one day, don't come back for 30. I said, so just that alone made me come to school every single day. So what was a year-long course, I finished in 9 months, because I was not playing with them. I wanted to get on with my life.
Oh, that's awesome. I remember Mr. Goins, such a great guy. I
Yes.
did some teaching there at his school,
Yes.
for many years, on and off,
Yes.
because this is my 38th year in the beauty business.
Wow.
But there's no business like the beauty business. I'm so glad I'm in the beauty business and not the ugly business.
That's right. That's right.
The industry is bursting at the seams with opportunity for that young woman with the vision to be able to see it.
Yes.
And to be able to talk to you about your life as a hair designer with Prince for so many years. So 27 years, that's a long time.
Yes.
And career life of a hair designer is 18 months. 18 months. If you take 100 hairstylists and you average them out, how long they've been doing hair, it's 18 months.
Wow.
And for you to be the hair designer of one of the greatest entertainers that ever walked the planet for 27 years.
29 years.
29
Yes.
years. That's epic.
Yeah, I outlived both his marriages, was with him, and it was just amazing to be, like people who used to work for him would see me and they'd be like, you still with Prince? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, he ain't drove you crazy. I said, God ain't gonna let that happen. I said, we here for each other, it's cool. And it was just years after year after year, it's like just amazing. But I count it all joy, and I wouldn't trade nothing for my journey.
Yeah, amen. And I can tell the love you have for him, is eternal.
Yes, that's my brother. Yeah, that's what people say. They're like, "Oh, were you in love with him?" I'm like, in love with him." I'm like, because I'm the baby of the family. I have 5 brothers and then myself, and then Prince was just added on into the family. So he used to tell me, he said, "You and your mama got the 911 hookup with God. I feel them prayers." I said, "And get yourself together, then." I was like, "Yeah." So it was just he was part of the family, and so it was beautiful that my mother got to come on the road with me sometimes, bring the baby.
Did?
Oh yeah, so I got to bring them along with me, and she loved Prince, and boy, just tickled Purple every time Purple Rain came on, and so it was just a beautiful thing. And he wasn't really close with his family, so all of us were like his he said friends are the family that you make, and so he brought us around, and so it was just beautiful because we could bring our kids and, like I said, our mothers, and so he loved on everybody like they were his as well. So it was just an amazing thing.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
to be able to, and you guys, if you went on a concert, your family would go with you, and everybody get airline tickets.
Oh yeah, yep. travel with us. He'd be like, Kim, bring the family. I'd be like, okay. Brought my husband out at one point when I was married. I said, same thing. It was just beautiful. So we had a good time. And my baby was on the road. And I think she thought Prince was one of her little friends. And I'd be like, that's a grown man, right? That's not a little boy. And she was just like, Prince is my friend. That's what she used to always say. It was so funny. So she drew a picture one time of the outside of the hotel, and it had palm trees and a red carpet. And her teacher, she said, Mama, the teacher keeps calling me a liar. And I said, what? And she said, the teacher. So I go to the school. I said, I'm sorry, ma'am, what's the problem? And so she said, oh, well, kids have vivid imagination. She said that she spent time with Prince and that she was at this hotel. And I said, okay, what's the problem? And she said, well, what you mean? I said, what's the problem? And so she showed me the picture, and I said, that's the front of the hotel. The hotel has red carpet and palm trees. She had literally drew the whole front of the hotel. And she's like, we were in Hawaii with Prince, and she told her story. She had to go to the hospital 3 times. Prince said, look, Sierra, you don't come to Hawaii to go to the doctor. This is paradise. What you doing in the hospital, And she got asthma real bad, When we got out there, he said, now you're breathing all this clean air. Your lungs can't take it. So he was always cracking jokes on everybody. So, but it was just beautiful. And now she was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I was like, yeah, I'm Princess Hair Stylist. And then, of course, after that, it turned into a Prince interview. I said, but you shouldn't tell young people that they're liars. If you don't know her real story, you should have asked me first.
Right.
And she was like, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed. And I was like, oh, she was my best friend after that. The rest of the school year, she loved Kim Berry and Sierra. And so, Sierra became the teacher's pet after that. Because, but I mean, I guess it would be astonishing for like a 5 or 6 year old coming in and telling you, oh, I spent the weekend with Prince. And and she's like, what? Like, what are you talking about? And like, no. She's like, yeah, well, children have such vivid imagination. I said, yes, you have to. It says that you have to come unto Jesus as unto like a little child. And that's what he loved about it, because they didn't want anything from him. They just wanted to be around him and play and have fun and scream his name. And, he loved that. And, I really believe that had his children lived, that we would have seen a whole different Prince as well, because both of his children died, preterm. So.
Oh, okay.
Yes.